So let's be honest, ChatGPT can be an amazing tool to create top-selling products to earn money online, but it is only good if you prompt it the right way. If you give ChatGPT the wrong prompts, then you're going to get boring, generic replies. But if you give it well-crafted prompts, then in return, you will get amazing, or sometimes, as you will see in this video, mind-blowing results. Which is why, through a lot of trial and error, I have created my ChatGPT formula to create top-selling product slogans within seconds that I can then sell onto print-on-demand merch to earn passive income online, such as selling t-shirts. Now, my guess is people watching this probably have two questions. One, okay Sarah, what is your ChatGPT formula then? And two, what are product slogans anyway, and why should I care? And those are both good questions, so let's start out with the formula. It is this: goal plus profile plus tone plus format plus length. By using this formula, you can generate some very cool top-selling product slogans. And yes, don't worry, I will explain what each of those prompts are shortly. But combined, the slogans that they make can earn a lot of money. So for example, take a look at this top-selling print-on-demand t-shirt for sale on Amazon, and this top-selling t-shirt for sale on Redbubble, and this top-selling t-shirt for sale here on Etsy. Alora, the Etsy research app, estimates this t-shirt has made over £170,000, which is over 214,000 US dollars. And well, all of these t-shirts have something in common besides the fact that they're popular with customers, and that is that they feature simple text-based product slogans. But yet, they still make lots of money and customers still buy them because even though they're simple, customers love it. They have clever, interesting phrases printed onto them. Customers really like these slogans. And actually, it's not just t-shirts that sell well with them. Take this top-selling tote bag here for sale on Amazon, and this top-selling poster here for sale on Redbubble, and these popular candles here on Etsy. Print-on-demand candles, which, by the way, you can source from apps like Printify, have been selling really well on here. So, for example, take this candle. The Etsy research app Alora estimates that it's made over $50,000, which is pretty cool. And so because customers love them so much, this is why I have created my formula to make creating them way easier and way faster. So let's go through each prompt in the formula step by step, and we'll start with the first one. So then, what is the goal prompt? So the goal prompt is probably the simplest. It's just when you tell ChatGPT what you are trying to create. For example, maybe you want ChatGPT to create an inspirational phrase to be printed onto a poster. Or maybe you want ChatGPT to instead create a slogan which will be printed onto a t-shirt. Whatever it is, just tell ChatGPT what you are trying to create. Okay then, next up, what is the profile prompt? Okay, so this one is a little bit more complex. This is when you tell ChatGPT what the profile is of the customer you're targeting or the niche that you're targeting with your product. And the more specific that you get with ChatGPT, the better. So here is an example of this. Let's say that I asked ChatGPT to generate a funny slogan for teachers. You can see that it has generated some very generic results which apply broadly to all teachers. And well, if a teacher sees one of these, chances are they'll chuckle and go, oh yeah, I can definitely relate to that. But if you want to increase your conversions and stand out, the easiest way to do that is to create a product that a customer really relates to. So you ideally want to get more specific if you can. So for example, if we cross niche and ask ChatGPT to create funny slogans for teachers that are also addicted to coffee, you'll see that it has generated much more specific phrases. And keep in mind that another way you can do this rather than cross-niching is to think about the demographics of the customer that you're targeting. For example, as part of the profile prompt, I could add into ChatGPT that I wanted to create this t-shirt slogan for teachers that are in their early 20s that are also addicted to coffee. And now I get jokes that are about the difficulty of adjusting to adult life, which is definitely something which I struggled with in my early 20s, and so I would have related to this a lot. And honestly, picking the right customers and niches to target like this is the key to making money fast with print on demand. Which is why in my free ebook, I share my tips and tricks that I use to find the right customers and niches to target to earn money fast. If you are interested in getting a copy of my free ebook, I'll have a link to it in the video description below. But anyway, back to the video. Alright then, what is the tone prompt? So this is the part where you tell ChatGPT the tone of voice that you want it to create it in. And this is very important because of the way that the app is currently programmed. For example, let's say that I ask ChatGPT to create some funny t-shirt slogans for people that love corgis. Well, by default, the app is currently programmed to give the least offensive, most cookie cutter responses possible, which is why a lot of these are really generic and what I would honestly call sugary sweet. And instead of sugary sweet, you might want something with a little bit more bite to it. And so to get that, we need to add in the tone prompt and to ask it to create t-shirt slogans that are snarkier and sarcastic. And when we do that, we get very, very different results from it. So then, what is the format prompt? Alright, so this is when you tell ChatGPT what format you want it to give you the results back in. And this can dramatically change your results. For example, let's take this top-selling engineering t-shirt here on Amazon, and I thought, well, I want to create my own engineering t-shirt too. Well, if I had just come to ChatGPT and asked it to generate t-shirt slogans for engineers that are sarcastic, I would have just gotten a bunch of one-liners. And as you can see here from the results, none of them are in the same style, which made that shirt so successful in the first place, which is the fake dictionary style. And so instead, if we come back to ChatGPT and we add in the format prompt and we ask the app to create them in the same format as fake dictionary entries, we will now get results which are formatted exactly in that same style that we want, which is perfect. But look, that is pretty basic, so let's actually challenge the app and put ChatGPT to the test. So, for example, do you see this sticker here for sale on Redbubble? It is one of the top-selling stickers on the platform. It's a play on that popular meme of those time-passing screens that SpongeBob uses.
A few moments later.
Now, I'll be honest. I'm not sure about the legality of selling a meme like this as a sticker. I'm not sure if this sticker is copyright infringement of SpongeBob or not. However, regardless, we're just going to use this now as a creative example of just what ChatGPT can do with the formatting prompt. So this time we're going to come to ChatGPT and we're going to tell it that we're creating funny slogans for t-shirts for people that are in their 20s and are addicted to coffee, and that we want them to be sarcastic. And for the format, we're going to ask it to write it in the SpongeBob time-passing meme format. And then we just let ChatGPT do its magic. And look, even though we asked for such a strange format, ChatGPT was still able to create this for us, so don't be afraid to get creative. And on to something that most people forget, the length prompt. Okay, so this is when you tell ChatGPT the length of the slogan or phrase that you want it to create, and this is actually really important. After all, take this top-selling inspirational poster here on Redbubble. You can see that it's fairly short. It's just 9 words, and that simplicity here is key because it allows the words to be printed onto it big and bold, which means it looks great. However, if we come to ChatGPT and we prompt it to make inspirational sayings or quote slogans to be printed onto posters, while some of the results that we got are suitable, a lot of them are not. They're too wordy and they're too long. And so instead, what we're going to do is we're going to put a character limit on it. And we will do that by adding in the length prompt by asking ChatGPT to please use a maximum of 50 characters. By doing this, ChatGPT will now generate concise motivational quotes, which is exactly what we want. And here is a tip. If you're trying to figure out what character length to use, keep in mind the average English word is 4.7 characters long. And something else that you need to consider is narrow products. So for example, take travel mugs. These are tall and narrow, and well, if you try and print a long word onto a travel mug, it would be a complete disaster. Because it wouldn't fit nicely, the word would wrap around the whole mug and be unreadable, and the only way to make it fit would be to print it in a tiny font. The same goes for this poster too. You can see here it's in a portrait format, making it pretty tall and narrow, which is why I'm not surprised that the biggest word on here is a maximum of 6 characters. So let's go ahead and add this into our length prompt. In addition, for asking ChatGPT to create phrases to be a maximum of 50 characters, we'll also set a word limit of 6 characters per word, and then we will let ChatGPT do its magic. And now it is generating responses for us that use short words that will actually fit onto our tall and narrow poster, which is pretty amazing. And so at this point here, I'll be honest, I got a little cheeky. ChatGPT at this point had done so well that I decided to give it an impossible task of creating phrases and words that have a 1 character word limit, and then I let it do its magic. Now, I'll be honest, I thought that the app was going to tell me that I had asked it to do something that was impossible because words need to have at least 2 characters. But nope, ChatGPT actually generated some surprisingly creative poster slogans for me. And so I learnt my lesson. I will never underestimate ChatGPT again. So then, did my video teach you something new? If so, please subscribe, and to find out the latest news about ChatGPT, including a major pending copyright lawsuit that they are involved in, be sure to check out my next video on screen. I'll see you in the next video.